I just want to talk about people that are abhorrence to truth. They go around and people believe, or they believe, or they both ways, in a weird sort of way, believe that they are truth. Only they're the abhorrence to truth, meaning they're a detour, a block, uh, stoppage, because it basically leads what they try to block or stop is actually, in actuality, truth. So they're abhorrence to truth. So it'd be like, I guess that's about a shortest example. But some people know them, but they've never really been able to put a label on it because they walk around in a hertz, a Hertz, like that frequency, a certain frequency that nobody can pinpoint, and they don't know themselves. It's just a put out, and it's not even theirs. They wear something that isn't theirs to be the abhorrence of truth, while claiming that what they are is what they are, until they're proven that it's wrong, and then they claim that it isn't. So I don't know if this is understandable or not. I know it. I realize it, and but it's that it's like a frequency. They work a frequency, but they don't know they're working that frequency. They just know that there's something there that pushes or clears them to do the acts or whatever that they try to do. And that's, I think, some serial killers might work in this range where uh, they try to persuade. It's not really it's subliminal, but it's not really. It's a control where they might think they're in control of it, or it's worked before, and they wear that. It's a certain feeling that they wear, that they know this is going to happen when they wear this feeling. Now, that means they're not really a person that has been had people go against them. In fact, they're probably more popular, or not really. Not it's not they don't have people working against them. There might be one, but they have enough pull or popularity in that area that they can work the popularity against anybody that goes up against them. It's not like they have a crowd of people trying to work against them. There might be an individual where the going against them, where they themselves can have a crowd, or a feeling that feels like a crowd to the person, which quiets that individual to keep from stopping them. Anyway, I think that, like, serial killers can wear that certain feeling that puts out. They'll wear a certain feeling, but it's not necessarily what the feeling puts out against. It might be a chronological feeling too, where not chronological or bibliographical feeling, where it's they wear that, and then they know that there's a certain time zone that feeling puts out. It causes other people, by the way that they wear the feeling, and it stays the same on them, but they know that it chronologically, the outward feelings that it puts out causes it changes as it develops. For as long as they wear it, which is they probably have the ability to. It's like putting on a suit, or a demeanor, or a character, or it's almost like a schizophrenia, where they can wear that, and it causes other people to react in certain ways, because for a certain amount of time, it just goes through a change outwardly, not to them, but to the person around them or who they're directing it, who they wear it around and direct it to. It could cause at first calm, and then it just goes through the change of possibly calm, and then an uneasiness, and then fear, and then it's just works the person, and they wear that, and it might be that they wear that because they don't really have an explanation for it of how it works against other people and causes them to react in certain ways where they're saying, well, I'm staying calm, but this, what I'm wearing, is causing other people to do it. But they're not going to say it's them causing them. And then when these people react in a certain way, there might be trigger emotions coming off the person that they're working it against that causes them to react in a certain way. So basically, they wear that feeling until a trigger emotion or physical reaction from a person causes that feeling that they're wearing to dissipate quickly to where they forget that they even had that on them, and then they react unnaturally or in a sadistic way against that person. And then they forget all about it. It's almost like putting on a schizophrenia to cause other people to react, which causes them to react, but they're saying, well, it wasn't me, because then, after a while they might say, well, I know about this, that, and the other, and they can't really explain it, so they're not going to say that it's them. So it's people that are abhorrence to truth. It's ABH. Is it ABHOREN? Abhorrence. ABHORRENCANC. Anyway, it's something like that. To truth. So the abhorrent people that are abhorrent to truth, and they might not always wear this, so it's almost like a schizophrenia with them, where it might just barely trigger, not even trigger them, but they might just catch a glimpse, because it's almost like they go through their own little emotional contract where they fall into that because of some sort of something in their past which causes them to go into that, to be abhorrent to truth. But they're born to be abhorrent to truth. For some reason, it's just almost like homos are born to be homos, because I believe the homosexual race is creating more homosexuals through embryo, where it's almost like there's certain homos, or it's even everything. A lot of people that if there's groups of people that they can create a change in how a person before it's born, even after it's born, they can change the surrounding. I don't know if say a child is born or not. Think of it as either an embryo that has a feeling around it, which you'll say, well, embryos don't feel or think, or you don't know that. And in fact, people don't know 99% of truth. All they know is the truth, which isn't really the truth that's written in front of them, because it's participled truth. All these people that write this stuff that claim to be psychiatrists and people historical, they're not writing truth. Even judicial systems, there's no truth into just when they say the whole truth. I'll guarantee you the whole truth is not coming out in a trial, because they're not going to a depth where they need to evaluate the whole truth. The governments, they might possibly have known about this 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago, where there was a glimpse of how stuff was happening, but they couldn't really explain it, so they just said, well, we're going to stick with the physical truth. And so that's what they do. Whatever acts or physical or something that you can see reacts. It's almost like they don't believe in belief, which is probably why government and religion aren't supposed to mix, yet they use a Bible or a religious text or whatever in a swearing in of a person when they go on trial and they get on the witness stand. They'll use a religious text or whatever book the person says they believe in. they'll let them swear on that, or I guess they can even swear against their name. I don't even think, I was reading somewhere where they don't even have to, even if they're like atheists and they say they don't believe in religion, then they can just raise their hand and say, tell them the truth. So it doesn't really matter, they don't have to swear on a religion, as apparently is like a Bible or something like that. But anyway, all this comes down to what the belief system claims to be true. The judicial system claims to be true. The religious system claims that a belief is true. The judicial system or governments only believe the physicalities to be true until they bring in a psychiatrist and claim insanity, which I've even read were criminally insane. It's not even the proper description of criminally insane, except that they claim that criminally insane means the judicial system says that they aren't in control of their faculties or their what they were at that time or where they are now. So it's a lot of the things that even society is based on. You're walking around in it's almost like basically everything is it's not a dream world, but everything is thought up. Buildings are thought up, roads are thought up, maps, education system. All this stuff comes from being found through thought to then originated into what it is now, like how buildings are structured. Because if you go before where people were going when there was just nothing, they were just wanderers, to where everything they have it just becomes a belief system. And then they're wearing, like a caveman or whatever you want to say, picks up a spear, and through tradition, through maybe 100,000 years of throwing spears, that they know that when they pick up this spear, it has the ability to kill something. But that's not always true, because if say like a water buffalo, they have a real tough hide, and it was said during the Vietnam War, when water buffalo was ravaging a village, a soldier would shoot at the water buffalo, although they were told that the villagers said that they wanted the buffalo constrained, and being that Americans are thought as cowboys, the villagers probably thought, well, this guy can go up instead of, this guy is they're rough and tough, and they're going to go up and ride the water buffalo and tame it to calm it back down. But what the soldier was some urban or whatever, even if they was a cowboy, they're not going to say, well, I'm not going to just jump on a water buffalo, because all these things are feelings of a frequency, an aura that is put off by everything. Everything has an aura, only you're thinking, well, that's mystical, and that's not really true. There's no such thing as an aura. Rocks don't have auras. But if you look at them, the way the grains, even though it might not be a structured aura, as how it's saying that the rock has structured itself to become something that holds an aura, it is actually being that flesh, human flesh and belief. If you're looking at, say, a boulder of granite, and you see how granite has shiny parts to it, and you know it's hard and it's shiny, and you take different aspects. Why you look at it, you're going to say, okay, depending on the shape, if you see a jagged shape, you're going to think one thing. If you see a smooth shape with a lot of sparkles in it, you're going to think, oh, beautiful. But if you see jagged edges and a dark spot with whatever, you're gonna take a different thought toward everything. And so I'm just saying, there's people walking around, possibility how serial killers go around, that there are abhorrence to truth, meaning they are against truth that is against them. They're walking around thinking they are truth, yet they are the abhorrence to truth. They're walking around thinking, oh, I'm truth, and even though I'm wearing something that you can claim, they might even work it in layers where you have to undo the layers by finding this word or that sentence or a description, and it just unveils them, and then they just continue to wear them. And there are people like that where they wear different. It's almost like a mask upon a like a masquerade where they just sit there and unmask and unmask. They'll just wear as much as they can, and they'll just throw mask after mask, and you're just describing it. It's never them, and the mask just keeps flying. Excuse me, just keeps flying off them. Anyway, 15 minutes. I think that's the end. But I just was going to say the people that are abhorrence to truth. In case somebody wants to describe, they haven't had the ability to describe it yet. I'm hoping this is a possible description for it.